So we are still in Washington, D.C., and the places where Elvis Presley had been in that city. On Sunday, December 12th, 1971, Elvis, Joyce, Lamar, Ricky, Charlie, and Sonny returned from Graceland after Joyce had a visit there. It was Joyce and her twin sister Janice's birthday, and Joyce was happy to spend their birthday together in D.C. Elvis had invited Janice to the suite at the Hotel Washington to celebrate. So here we are walking down 15th Street Northwest of the Hotel Washington, turning the corner onto F Street Northwest to the side entrance of the Hotel Washington. We're going to go inside and check it out. The hotel has been renovated, but you're going to be able to see some of the original architectural details that were there in the day when Elvis stayed there in 1971. So this is the lobby, and they would have made their way to the elevator bay Elvis and company would have used, unless there's a service elevator. However, Joyce and the Memphis Mafia would have definitely used it. So we are going to head up to the 5th floor, going up these elevators. And according to Joyce, Elvis was back in the 506, 508 suite that he had stayed in on his previous trips to DC. So had he used these elevators, they would have gone up to the 5th floor and made a left out of the elevators and went down the hall to the very end. So Elvis would have stayed in a corner suite. So here we go. This is room 508, and proceed a little bit further down. You would see 506 right there. We'll take another look at that. And 506 in the corner, and there we go, room 508. Would have been a corner suite, and from the outside you could see up there towards the top he would have great views of Pennsylvania Avenue and 15th Street. And so this is what he would have seen, the Washington Monument on the Pennsylvania Avenue side. And you would also see across the street he would have had great views of the White House, which he would have stayed here in December of 70 also, when he got his federal narcotics badge from President Nixon. Although it was right across the street and Elvis could have walked to the White House, he more than likely took a limo to the back gate, which would be located right about there, not on the roof. And there's the back of the White House. Couldn't get into the 506, 508 suite, but if you go to the roof in the POV lounge, you would see the same views that Elvis would have seen from his room, because it's on the same side of the hotel. So check it out. It's a great restaurant. They have really good food there. So after work on December 13th, 1971, Joyce returned back from work at the Capitol to join Elvis and the gang. The boys asked Elvis if he would mind if they went to the restaurant to eat downstairs, and Elvis was fine with that, and he said that he and Joyce would order room service. So the guys went downstairs to eat in the restaurant, and like most football enthusiasts back then and now, it was Monday Night Football. So Elvis turned on the TV to tune into the game that would start in a little while. The television did not have good reception, so Elvis was aggressively fiddling with the TV in order to get it tuned in. And the boys came back to the room, and Elvis was like, "Why are you guys back so quick?" Sonny had said that we can't eat in the restaurant without jackets and ties. Well, with that, Elvis got really pissed off and said, "That's it, we're out of this expletive dump." And the guy started quickly packing and making arrangements for another hotel. So they piled into the limo and headed to Arlington, Virginia, which is just over the Potomac via the Francis Scott Key Bridge, which connects Arlington to Georgetown. Now, I was thinking about this, and while some people may think his reaction to the TV incident may have been overreacting, my opinion about the incident is that Elvis would have found the boys' denial into the restaurant extremely offensive. One time he hit the roof when he was in a car dealership with Billy Smith, and a salesman told the jean wearing Billy to stop leaning on the cars. Elvis himself would never judge anyone by what they did for a living or how they dressed, and I could see Elvis would have been extremely offended and that the guys could not dine in the restaurant. I think it goes back to the days when Elvis was mocked as a kid for what he was wearing when he was so poor, and that's my take on the incident. Anyway, they drove about 3 miles into Arlington, which would have been about 15 minutes to another hotel called the Key Bridge Marriott, built in 1959. The hotel was just 13 years old at the time compared to the 53-year-old Hotel Washington. Now, Joyce was not very impressed with this more modern hotel and described the decor as plastique provincial, common of the 1970s. Elvis loved the room. It was bigger and the TV worked, so here we are, going in the front doors and checking it out. We could coincidentally had stayed here in 2012 for a tournament at the convention center, so I find it cool that we stayed in the same hotel as Elvis. And when you turn the corner, here are the bay of elevators. Elvis more than likely would have not gone in the front door. He probably would have gone in this side door and down the hall to their suite. And Elvis kind of liked it here. He was very happy that the rooms were bigger and more happy that he could catch the Washington Redskins play the LA Rams. So here you have another Elvis site. Check it out if you're in Washington, D.C.